we think we're entitled to a good life because we've followed what God has called us to do. There is no promise of a perfect life. There is a promise that God will never leave us or forsake us. I think if you trace some of the feelings that you feel, it often reveals what you've ultimately put your trust and identity in. When your job's going well, when your relationship's going well, when you're making a lot of money, then it's like, oh, I must be favored by God. And as soon as those things are unearthed, there's a difference between being challenged and upset at things in life. There's a difference when you're totally paralyzed by losing something. That really reveals sometimes the things you've built your life on. And I think God's promised us that if we build our life on Him, it will all be okay in the end. But if you build your life on your career, your relationship, your wealth, your status, your power, then you are building on very shaky ground. I stopped working for a season of about 4 months when I moved back to London. I really wasn't doing anything. I was unemployed. I had a lot of time. And I remember feeling quite useless because everything in our world tells us if you're not doing something, you're wasting your time or you're not being productive. And actually having everything stripped back, having nothing to literally do, gave me a lot of time to be in my own thoughts and to have some really honest conversations with God. And I remember this one occasion where I felt God say to me, even if you don't do anything ever again, do you know that I love you? Even when I slow down and stop, I'm already loved. And having that kind of rooted in my identity of not continually trying to prove anything, but just to allow myself to receive my identity from God before I start performing, has always been something that I think is a wrestle, to operate out of a place of identity, love and belonging, as opposed to trying to earn those things and knowing that that comes from God. I guess a breakthrough moment for me. And in terms of understanding conceptually grace in my head and experiencing grace in my day-to-day life, I think that's something that the Holy Spirit has revealed. It's an experience that I think is hard to describe with words. There's like objective truth. You know, Jesus has lived the life that I can't live, and He's paid the price for the things that I know I can't fulfill. And then His Spirit comes alongside me and reveals that subjective experience of love to me. And I think that's a difference between conceptual knowledge in your head and an understanding in your heart.
Hey, I'm Grace. As a charity, our videos at Streams are entirely funded by donations, big and small, from individuals like yourself. So if you've been impacted by our platform, we'd be really grateful if you might consider giving what you can to join us in bringing people hope on their toughest days. Just head to the link in our bio.